Sorry y'all for laughing, but I just got through watching President Biden do his press conference, and I promise you, I almost fell asleep. But I'm gonna give my commentary on it. The Biden administration is a joke, a full live joke. But before we go into the content, I need you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I can't make this stuff up. So if you would like to support this channel, you could do it by doing this right here. I plan on starting to do live. So if you guys want me to start going live, then let me know. And I won't just record videos. I can do it in real time and we can interact with each other. So if that's something that you would like for me to do, just put it in the comments below. Do that for me. Right down there. Just put it down there. And we'll go from there. Also, without further ado, let's go to the video and let's hear President Biden talk. And we'll probably be doing some stopping and giving some commentary so you kind of understand where this brother is coming from. You feel me? So let's go.
Thank you, General. Let me, before I begin, thank the participants in our roundtable today. 2 mayors, 3 mayors, chiefs of police, attorneys general, and community organizers are doing significant work in bringing down violent crime in their communities.
I have one question because I'm already bored. Did Joe Biden just wake up when he walked to the podium? He just so dry, man. And I'm going to show you some compare and contrast to our last president to this resident right here. This man reading from the teleprompter, no passion, no inflection in his voice, just reading. And if you're not passionate about crime and addressing it, how in the whole heaven and hell do you think anybody else will be? But let me go back to him. And I promise I'm going to try not to fall asleep.
No one answer fits everything. And it's about being engaged and multiple organizations being engaged. So I want to thank you for the time you spent with us today. And I warned you I'm coming back at you again for more information. and we just met, as I said, with a bipartisan group of mayors, law enforcement, and community leaders. And we discussed a comprehensive strategy that I'm releasing today to combat the epidemic of gun violence and other violent crime that we've been seeing in our country for far too long, that has spiked since the start of the pandemic over a year ago. Crime is historically rises during the summer. And as we emerge from this pandemic, with the country opening back up again, the traditional summer spike may even be more pronounced than it usually would be. For folks at home, here's what you need to know. I've been at this a long time, and there are things we know that work that reduce gun violence and violent crime, and things that we don't know about. But things we know about, background checks for purchasing a firearm.
Y'all, what's really going on with our resident, man? We just about 2 minutes in, and this dude is about to fall asleep already. Dude, one thing about people like him that really burns my biscuits, if you want to say that, is that you want to go back to 1921 and talk about what happened in Greenwood or Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the massacre that took place there. But 47 of those 100 years you have been in politics and did absolutely nothing. The only thing that you gave us was a 94 crime bill. And then there was crime bills before that. And you call people SOBs, but then yet and still when Trump says, get those SOBs off the field, then it was a problem. But this man can do what he want to do. Nobody is challenging him and try to make sure that he's cognitively there. I mean, his cognitive reasoning is just like shot. And he's sitting there half asleep and he giving this press conference, man. I'm about to fall asleep, but I promise I would try to get through it. And hopefully when we get to the highlights with President Trump, maybe we'll wake up a little bit, because right now this dude is boring. I don't even think I can make it through the 20 minutes that he was talking. But I'm gonna try. I'm going to really try. So let's go back to this fool.
Firearm are important. Ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. No one needs to have a weapon that can fire over 30, 40, 50, even up to 100 rounds.
President Biden, can I stop it real quick and ask you a question? Are you serious? First of all, we know that most people that do murders and use weapons, they're not using assault weapons. They're not using AR-16s, as you call them. That gun doesn't even exist, but anyway, they're using handguns. And again, most people like myself that is a legal gun owner, we're very responsible because we know we have to go through so much red tape to get legal guns. And so we're very careful. It's just like having a driver's license. When you have a driver's license, you're very careful about doing the speed limit. But when you have no regard for the laws and you break the laws, and then when they take your license away from you, do you want to holler, racism or whatever the case may be? No, you were speeding, bro. You were speeding, sis. So that's why you got your license taken, because you kept doing it. You was a repeat offender. Again, most people that have handguns and have AR-15s and rifles and things of that nature, they're not here just going out shooting people. There are a few people that do crazy things, be it black or white, that does mass shootings and stuff, and I don't agree with that at all. And they should be addressed and dealt with properly within the justice system. But to punish everybody, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to punish the legal gun owners along with the illegal gun users. You can't throw out the baby with the bathwater, and that's what y'all are trying to do here. And anybody that has a legal gun need to be standing up for their rights. That's just my opinion. But again, we're gonna go back to President Biden and listen to some more lies. Okay, let's go.
Unless you think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests or something. Community policing and programs that keep neighborhoods safe and keep folks out of trouble. These efforts work, they save lives. But over time, these policies were gutted or woefully underfunded. In our conversation today, we talked about our strategy to supercharge what works while we continue to push the Congress to act on sensible gun violence legislation. First, we discussed cracking down, as you heard from the Attorney General, on rogue gun dealers. We know that if there is a strict enforcement of background checks, then fewer guns get into the hands of criminals. Background checks have thus far kept more than 3 million guns out of the hands of felons, convicted felons, fugitive, domestic abusers, and others prohibited from being able to purchase a gun. And there's still too many loopholes in that system. And today, enough rogue gun dealers feel like they can get away with selling guns to people who aren't legally allowed to own them. And I might add, the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you want to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it.
First of all, President Biden, I believe that the Second Amendment was really put in place for the citizens to be able to fight tyranny. And that's why y'all want to take the guns, because y'all want to be a tyrannical system and y'all want to be overlords and y'all want to control people on how they move. Now, let me tell you this. When you look at illegal gun users, again, they get their guns from anywhere. They buy them, and yeah, I understand some people may sell guns to people that shouldn't have them, but to punish the ones that are getting their guns legally is totally wrong. And then to try to point out like who's buying a cannon these days? Who's buying a cannon, Mr. Resident Biden? Could you please answer that for me? Who's buying a cannon? Nobody. Again, the Second Amendment was put in place for us to be able to defend ourselves, defend our home, and also to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. So again, don't play with words. Don't mince words, sir. Please don't mince words, sir. This black man talking to you, Joe Biden, look at me. Look at me when I talk to you. Is for people like you. Now, nobody's trying to go out here and to overthrow y'all, but we're going to defend ourselves if y'all try to take over our free liberties. That's all I'm saying. And that's not a threat, YouTube, because I know y'all like to try to take things as a threat. Think about even the quote unquote insurrection. What we realized, there was only one person that had a gun, and it wasn't a quote unquote Trump supporter. It was a police officer that shot a woman that was unarmed, and she's dead. Now, again, if we care about life, then shouldn't this be a problem? But again, we see people like these organizations like Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They're going out here and they're causing violence, but you ain't talking about that. You're not talking about the gang violence. You're not talking about all of that. So we're going to continue with Mr. President Biden, and then I'm going to talk about his VP, Kamala Lock 'em Up Harris, and just how flaky she is. I don't understand how she even got put on the ticket. I don't. She's such a flip-flopper. It makes sense why they have Tony Fauci, a part of them, and then he's going out there doing this flip-flopping as well, because that's what the Biden administration is doing. Jen Psaki, all of them, they just flip-flop. However the wind blows, that's how they go. Whatever's going to get them votes or whatever's going to give them their power grab, this is what they're going to do. And it's a problem for me. So I am so glad to see other black conservatives starting to stand up, because I'm tired of people using this whole narrative that only the white Republicans or the male Republicans are speaking up for stuff. No, black people feel the same way. We want to be safe in our neighborhoods. We want to be able to protect ourselves if we need to, and to protect our families and our homes. So if that's a problem, President Biden, then the problem doesn't lie with us, it lies with you. And you need to go and get well soon. That's all I'm saying. Let's continue.
The last time we had data on this issue of who was purchasing guns was more than 20 years ago. 5% of gun dealers, turns out, in the study we did, showed that 90% of illegal guns were found at the crime scenes, sold by 5% of gun dealers. 5% sold 90% of the guns found at crime scenes. And these merchants of death are breaking the law for profit. They're selling guns that are killing innocent people. It's wrong, it's unacceptable. As the Attorney General said, we're going to crack down on those gun dealers and the violent criminals they knowingly arm. In April, I announced that the Justice Department is going to be issuing an annual report on gun trafficking so we can update that data. Today, the department is announcing, as I just did, a major crackdown on stem the flow of guns used to commit violent crimes. It's zero tolerance for gun dealers who willfully violate key existing laws and regulations. Let me repeat, zero tolerance. If you willfully...
So Joe Biden, question for you. And I think I'm just going to put the link below because I'm really about to fall asleep. This dude, I can't do it twice. It's like watching paint dry. But my question for Mr. President Biden is, if when the BLM was acting amok last year and people was getting killed, like David Dorn, why were those people getting bailed out of jail? Why did your vice president go and put up a fund to bail them out if you really care about violence? I believe, because I used to be in jail before in my past life, I went to jail, and when I sat there, guess what? It taught me accountability. But if you keep letting people out, they're not going to feel accountable. They're going to just continue to do the same thing. That's just like a kid. If you let them get away with things, they're going to continue to do it until you put your foot down and let them know you mean business. So now you want to punish people because they don't go along with your ideology. You want to punish them, or you want to oppose. You want to punish the opposition. People that's not getting in line, then I'm going to punish you. That communism stuff is seeping in slowly but surely, and the reason why it's doing that because we're relinquishing power that we actually have, and that's my problem with blacks, whites, Latinos, whoever that's just giving up power just for the sake of a false security. They're telling you what they're going to do for you. No, we should be able to do these things for ourselves. If everybody take care of their own home, then we'll be all right. Now, you're not talking about the whole thing of, you're not talking about let's get people back in the homes. We're not talking about the fathers going back and being fathers to their children. You're not talking about that. You're talking about the community policing. But no, I think the best way to police the community is when you have a nuclear family raising their family right and being able to tell their children and teach them the right ways and give them good morals. I think that's the best thing you can do. If you police your kids at home by giving them the rights and the wrongs, then you won't have to worry about them having a encounter with the police that y'all want to just act like it's just so, in a mass scheme that just like everybody that walk out, especially of color, that the police is waiting with a target on their back. That's not true. Like I said, I live in the South, and I know that's not true, but I'm going to put the link below if. Well, I ain't going to put the link below because I'm going to put the link below. I'm going to let Joe Biden say a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, I'm trying not to fall asleep. And then we're going to go to a highlight. We'll try to move it up a little bit and move a little further. So, back to the boring scheduled program.
Sell a gun to someone who's prohibited from possessing it if you willfully fail to run a background check, if you willfully falsify a record, if you willfully fail to cooperate with the tracing requests or inspections. My message to you is this: we'll find you and we will seek your license to sell guns. We'll make sure you can't sell death and mayhem on our streets. It's an outrage. It has to end, and we'll end it, period.
Okay, Mr. Biden, you said that we're not going to sell death and mayhem on the streets, but isn't that what happened last year during 2020? Death and mayhem. And guess what? Patrice Cullors got like $3-something million out of it when she was able to purchase homes. So you definitely don't want people to be able to buy death and mayhem, but you have no problem with people gaining from the people that have died from the death and mayhem that you're talking about. Again, there are some there are some gun dealers that are selling guns illegally. Yeah, deal with them. But there's a lot of them that's doing it right. I would say about 95% of them are doing it the right way. A matter of fact, I believe that's what it is because you just said 5% are not. So there's 95% of them doing it the right way, but you're going to punish everybody because there are some people getting through the loopholes. Guess what? You being where you are right now was because of a loophole. I'm just saying. And you can fill in the blanks on that however you want to. But I'm just saying, and those of you that know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. And then you want to say, well, if they're doing it illegally, we're going to find them. Dude, you can't even find your brain right now. You can't even find your next words. Somebody had to put on a teleprompter for you to be able to say it. I just can't with this man. And HELL, no, did I vote for him? I didn't vote for him. No, I wouldn't vote for him. For this, man, you got to be out of your rabbit mind.
Second, we discussed disrupting illegal gun trafficking. Now, the gun lobby wants you to believe that cities that are had the toughest gun laws still have the highest rates of gun violence, as was pointed out by the group we had today in our roundtable. The violence is, so they argue, why do you need those gun laws if they don't work in cities that have tough laws?
Okay, y'all, I really tried. Man, I tried. I can't. I can't. This dude is a mess. But we have Jen Psaki that want to blame the previous administration for crime. I'm going to let you take a look for yourself. Let's go.
major cities across the country where gun violence is absolutely the driver, where it is absolutely increasing. And that will be a central part of what he'll talk about when he delivers his remarks tomorrow. There's been, an increase in violent crime over the last 18 months. It's not just over the last few months. And actually, if you look statistically back, it's more over the last 5 years or so.
So it's Trump's fault. Everything is Trump's fault. Coronavirus, Trump's fault. The border crisis, Trump's fault. Police going out here and quote unquote killing black people, Trump's fault. All this stuff, Trump's fault. Trump, man, if Trump was never born, would it be still Trump's fault? You still blaming him. So you're going to go back 5 years when y'all was coming up with all y'all false narratives about things that y'all always saying that, election, quote unquote, has not been proven, but yet and still y'all still wrong with the narrative. And y'all quick to say, well, the president that was impeached twice, whatever the case may be, somebody need to impeach 46. Like Maxine Waters on right here, impeach 45. Impeach 45. No, we need to peach 46 because peach 46, his goose is cooked. I'm just telling you, it's done. It's done. It's done. This dude don't have, I don't even think he have 2 connected brain cells. If he do, I'm telling you, they tired just like him. I'm quite sure when he got through doing this press conference, he went and took a nap. Maybe just went to bed for the evening. I don't know. But let me go to somebody that I want to talk about. I want to talk about this chick right here. This chick right there you see on the screen, and this man right here. Now, isn't it ironic that I know she heard it on the street. I know a little birdie told her that Trump going down to the border. So in order for her not to look like a fool, she said, I'm going to go to the border this week. It says that Kamala to make her first trip to the border as vice president this week. So now you want to go. But you had just told old dude last week, this same dude, a week before last, you told him that you wasn't going to the border. You was lying, saying y'all been to the border, but you haven't been there as vice president. And then you're not even taking consideration that, when he said, well, you haven't been as vice president, she's going to say, well, I ain't been to Europe either. Like being smart. I don't like her. I'm just telling you the truth. I didn't like her doing the primaries. I don't like her now. And then it's what's so funny to me is the same one that accused Joe Biden of being a racist is his VP. That just lets you know that these people don't care about anything. They don't have integrity at all. And I think Jen Psaki said that the Biden administration is the most the administration that has the most integrity. Really? If you see them two people, we call her resident and the vice president, if you see these two people together, we know for a fact there's no integrity there. And so in 2024, I would love to see these two go up against each other for real. I mean, you giving this man all this ammunition to check you, that's going to be funny. I pray that Trump runs in 2024. I really do. I really, really do. Let's go to a highlight where when you have a press conference, the way it should look. So let's go to the infamous president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
That this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in
Not
this
at all.
election
No, not
to
at all.
try to keep?
I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's
I
not
think
an
you
invasion.
should, honestly, you know
miles
what?
away.
I
That's
think
not an
you
invasion.
should, honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask
much
you,
better.
Y'all, don't y'all miss this? Don't y'all, man. Like I'm sitting here, like you see, I've come alive, and not because I'm just a lackey for Donald Trump, but no, this is not only informative but also entertaining. Like, man, I'm like, this is what we need right here. He didn't mind having banter between him and their reporters. When it comes to Joe Biden, he just get upset and then, go off or whatever. Trump did it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit up here and make no excuses for him. He did it too. But he did it in a way in which if you got connected brain cells and you don't take everything so personally and you don't have thin skin, you can laugh at it. I'm sitting here laughing my behind off because he got Jim Acosta straight. He told him straight up. He said, we need the people, but we need them to come in legally. Now, this is what we need. We need the people, he said, because actually we're losing our jobs to these countries. So let's bring the people here, And so I have to respect this man for doing that. And so we're going to go back to President Trump. We're going to let him finish his dialogue with the reporters because I think it's a highlight. I like it. Let's go.
I may
Okay,
ask
that's
one other
enough.
question, Mr. President.
That's
I was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks.
That's
have had-
enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President.
me, that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down?
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself.
That's how you handle like a boss. Trump, like, man, put your mic down. I don't even want to talk to you. If you notice how they handled the press, handled Trump, and how they're handling the Biden administration, totally different. It's like night and day. They went after Trump like ferocious dogs. But when it comes to Biden, they're just so gentle because they're all in cahoots. They're all in this cabal together. We read the story about them being in the cabal and they're protecting Joe Biden instead of letting Joe Biden be the president and take hard questions and be able to stand up and show that he has the strength to be the president. But again, we see that's not going to happen. But back to Trump. Here we go.
Having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a
I've
very
worked-
rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts
Well,
his
I'm
butt
not a
like the
big
rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either, so
I understand.
to be honest.
So let me ask you a question if I can. You repeatedly
You
said,
aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of
Okay,
the...
just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
I would tell you that joker's a boss. That's a boss. I'm saying that now. He was like, sit down, shut up. You're really not that great. Wouldn't you like a president or anybody just to tell you the truth so you can correct it and do better? These people still lie. They was lying back then. They still lie now. I just don't get it. I don't watch CNN. I won't watch CNN to get a recipe on how to bake a cake. I'm just being real because they'll probably lie and have me putting the wrong ingredients in that too. So I don't pay them no attention. And Fox News ain't no better. I'm just being honest. I watch certain shows on there, but for us like sitting there watching it all day, no. Newsmax, they starting to do a whole flip too. And I don't like it, but because it's like when Trump was winning, everything that you were saying about Trump was just so good. Now you kind of backtracking. And again, if you with me, be with me. Don't be with me when I'm winning. Then when I start to quote unquote lose, then you kind of back off from it because that shows me what kind of person you really were in the beginning. But let me let Trump finish his next 2 minutes out. And then I'm going to show you something that he said. And then I'm going to tell you what Kamala said after that. And I'm going to show you the hypocrisy. And then this video will be done. So let's go.
Mr. President, over the course of the last several days of the campaign, sir, at the end of the campaign, you repeatedly said that Americans need to fear Democrats. You said it would unleash a wave of violent crime that endangers families everywhere. Why are you
Because
pitting
they're very weak on
Americans?
crime.
Why are
Excuse
you
me.
pitting? Why are
Excuse
you
me.
pitting Americans
Peter.
against one another, sir?
Oh, so when Joe Biden does it and when the Democrats does it, it's no problem. But yet and still you want to say that he's pitting Americans against Americans by saying if Democrats basically got in power, that crime would increase. Has it not? Because we know that Donald J. Trump was a man of law and order. He wanted to send the National Guard into Portland. They didn't want it. Wanted to send it into Chicago. They didn't want it. So this man wanted to bring some order to things, but no, we didn't want that. We wanted President Biden and what we got now. I think, because I don't think everybody voted for him. I think some people that was that may have died during the massacre and that died during slavery may have voted for Joe Biden. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible, but maybe they did. I don't know. But let's go.
What are you trying to be him?
No, I'm
Peter,
just asking the question.
Let me just tell you. Very simple. Because they're very weak on crime.
On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists. Now people are also
I don't know
saying
why you'd
that
say
the
that.
president.
That's such a racist
There are
question.
some people that say that now the Republican Party is seen as supporting white nationalists
Oh, I
because
don't
of your
believe
rhetoric.
that. I don't
What do
believe
you make
that.
of that?
Let me tell you, it's a racist question.
And Mr. President, I
I
want to
love
ask.
it. You know what the word is? I love our country. I do. You have nationalists, you have globalists. I also love the world. And I don't mind helping the world, but we have to straighten out our country first. We have a lot of problems.
And Miss,
Excuse me, but to say that, what you said, is so insulting to me. It's a very terrible thing that you said.
So what Trump said, if you didn't hear it, I just want to repeat it. He says, some of y'all call it nationalists because I love this country. But then we also have globalists. Well, if Trump was a nationalist for loving this country, we see that President Biden is a globalist because he's selling this country out every day. You're gonna shut down the Keystone Pipeline, but you're going to give Europe and you're going to give Russia their pipeline. You're going to raise sanctions on them and give them what they want. So, and then y'all block the investigation of the Wuhan lab for so long. So again, I see the difference between Trump and Biden. And I'm telling you, it's not, again, to step in and say that everything that Trump did was right. And I agree with everything he did and everything he said, because that's not the case. But I like the way he handled business. He ran this country somewhat like a business. Well, America is a corporation, but you know what I'm saying. But he ran it properly where everybody was winning. And now everybody's losing. He said that the Democrats will be soft on crime. We're seeing that because you let people that are repeat offenders out. You let people out of jail in New York if they molested kids or if they doing arson and everything. You just give them a disappearance. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense absolutely at all. So again, Trump in this case was right.
Well, I'll give you voters. I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I'll give you voter suppression. Take a look at the CNN polls, how inaccurate they were. That's called voter suppression. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm not responding. I'm responding to. Excuse me. I'm not responding to you. I'm talking to this gentleman. Will you please sit down? Excuse me. Would you please sit down? Now, please go ahead.
But yet and still, they say he was a dictator. A dictator would have enforced you to sit down. You would have sat down. But a dictator doesn't say please. I'm telling you, you got to listen, and you just got to kind of just look at stuff for yourself. And I'm even looking at this right now, and I'm saying, no, this man can't be a dictator, because he would say, would you please sit down? I mean, could you please let me talk to this gentleman? Called him a gentleman. He wasn't rude and just nasty. I mean, the way he had banter with them, he was giving them a little bit what they was giving him. But at the same time, he was still trying to be respectful. But a dictator wouldn't have been respectful. Ask the people over there in China. Ask them. And you see what President Beijing Biden is trying to do. I'm just saying. I call balls and strikes, and that's the way I see it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that the House of
Very
Representatives
hostile.
has split,
It's such a hostile media. It's so sad. You ask me about. No, you rudely interrupted him. You rudely interrupted him. Go ahead.
Now, let's talk about something, because at the beginning of that montage of President Trump, they was asking about immigration, and he was saying that, hey, I don't have no problem with the immigrants coming or the migrants coming, as long as they come legally. And then he was labeled a racist. But let's look and see what Kamala Harris said and why she's not considered racist. Make sense.
Be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
Well, Ms. Harris, I believe if you come to the border, you'll be turned back. Shouldn't you know that? Shouldn't you emphatically know that if you come to the border, I'm telling y'all, come up here if you want to, you'll be doing a wasted trip because I'm sending you back. Period. And people won't be still coming, but people are still coming. They're still coming. And again, when Trump said, do not come legally, he's a racist. He's a dictator. But then when Kamala says the same exact thing, she get praised or she gets a little soft pass. I just hate the hypocrisy. And I'm going to call out hypocrisy where I see it. Even if I'm being a hypocrite, I want somebody to call it out on me. Yeah, people can change and people can grow. But this administration, we got 3.5 more years of this. Y'all better pray. And you better stand up for your rights. I have some people that's mad at me because I say I don't support criminal race theory. I don't support it. Because again, what you're telling me is that we need to do white people what white people did to black people. It didn't work then, it ain't gonna work now. It wasn't right then, it ain't gonna be right now. It wasn't fair then, it ain't gonna be fair now. Again, let's start looking at each other as a human race. Let's look at each other as a human race. Yeah, we're different. And God is so wonderful that he made us different. Just imagine if everybody looked the same, sound the same, and all that. This world would be boring. God did this and he planted an array of flowers in the fields and he put an array of people on earth. And we're all different. I wouldn't want to marry somebody just like me. I wouldn't want to live with somebody just like me because I'm not always the best person. So I need somebody, the opposites to attract, to be able to balance me. So all this stuff, I don't support race, critical race theory. I'm not for it. If I had kids, I would be against it. No, you're not teaching my kids about anal sex. You're not doing that. You're not going to teach my kids about no 2 dads and no 2 moms. No, you're not going to do that because, again, that's just not going to happen. The reason why so many of these boundaries have been crossed is because people are standing up too late. I'm going to tell you something. Just like the resident Biden administration, we coming up a day late and $1 short. It's time for us to stand up and stand up for our rights and fight. And like they said, you know, when Trump said fight like hell, it was a problem. Then we had all the Democrats saying it, and then everybody wanted to ignore it. That's what I'm saying, the hypocrisy. Like I said again, some things you go out to fight hell like hell. Us hell fights hard. Hell ain't fair. And hell, one thing about hell is seeking to destroy. But we got to stand up and we got to fight hell like hell. If you're gonna fight hard, I'm gonna fight just as hard. You're not taking over my family. So again, you know, Kamala want to talk about root causes. Well, I'm telling you this, the root cause is a lot of this stuff can be handled properly if you let mothers and fathers be mothers and fathers. Stop running the house thinking that you could be better parents to people's kids. Now, some people's kids, they don't need to be with their parents because they don't need kids. I'm just being honest. But if they make a mistake, then give them a chance to correct the mistake. Don't just always want the government to be the answer. Anything that starts with a G, that should be the answer, should be God, not government. Because as we see now, we have wickedness in high places. We have rulers of darkness. And so again, these people are pushing all this stuff that is so abhorrent, and we just okay with it. I'm not. As a black man, again, I watched today when I went to take my mom today to get her gun permit legally. This white cop walked up to us, and my niece, my great niece, actually was with me. And she came up, she was talking to my great niece. She was like, I got something for you. Gave her a badge, like one of the little sticker badges, and gave her some pencils and everything. And I looked at my mom and I said, Mom, you know, racism ain't really what they're trying to make it to be. And I had 2 SJWs. They was white liberals, looked at me like they was going to say something. Well, I was saying to myself, we're in the right place. Say something if you want to, and they're going to have to lock me up because y'all pushing this narrative that is just not there. It's a false equivalency. It's not really there. Is racism real, yeah, it's some racism going on here. But on the scale that y'all trying to make it, no, sir, no, ma'am, it's not there. So I just kind of had to give my little interpretation on my commentary on that President Biden speech. If you want to deal with crime, then you make sure that people are held accountable when they commit crimes. And once they're held accountable, then they won't continue to commit crimes. But as long as you keep on giving them soft passes, they're going to do it. As long as you keep on making race an issue, they're going to do it, because last I checked, when the gang is going killing people, they're not going out here gunning for people that are white. They sitting up here killing people on streets because they're trying to say they repping their streets. But one thing I know about them streets is that when you die, they keep on going. They keep on doing the same thing. And if we keep on going eye for eye and tooth for a tooth, we're going to have a whole blind world and no teeth in the world. We got to stand up. We got to do better and use our minds to make better decisions. So that's all I want to say. Again, if you like this content, I need you to do this for me. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Again, I don't do it like everybody else. It's not going to be perfect, because I'm showing you I am an imperfect person. If I want things perfect, then oh well. If you want it perfect, then go to another channel. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that's come to this channel. I really do. But I just got to be me, authentically me. And if you can't accept that, then I'm sorry. So I love you guys, man. Y'all step and stay blessed. All right. Peace out.